Hi, I am preparing for a trip. I leave tomorrow. So of course you know that means pre-trip sewing the night before. Let's just continue the frantic sewing, shall we? I am using my handy dandy sewing journal because I need to put it to use, and they have this works in progress page. So I've identified 5 things. Yes, at almost 7 p.m. I've identified 5 things that I'm thinking of working on. I am so ridiculous. But they, aside from one of them, are not like total out of nowhere. Okay, I lied. Outside of 2 of them, they're not like completely new things, but let's just dive right in. The first thing that I've set with a priority level of 5 stars is to complete upcycling this concert t-shirt. This is the Phil Collins concert t-shirt from his concert that he did here in Washington, D.C. like a bunch of years ago. I went with my best friend. We had a good old time. It is a size small. And the issue was it was a short sleeve t-shirt. I'll insert a photo. But, and it was hard for me to wear because it was short sleeved. You know what I mean? Because I don't quite wear the short sleeves out and about. So I want to make it long sleeve. When I recently did my fabric stash clean up, clean out, and reorganization, I knew that I had this fabric, but it was nice to see it and jog my memory and also recognize that it is very similar white. You know, it's not like printer paper white. It's just a little tinge off, and it's perfect, I believe. Goes really well with the t-shirt. So I brought that out. I've already cut out the sleeve from the McCall's M8064, the dress that I've been loving. So I cut out the sleeves from that because I love those sleeves. And I brought out rickrack, okay? So my attempt right now is to pull out colors from the band shirt out of the rickrack that I have. And I want to put some stripes of rickrack down the sleeve. Why? Because it adds pizzazz. And I feel like because I'm adding a different fabric, in my mind's eye, if I like embellish it, it will confuse the people. Okay, it's not going to let it be so obvious that it's a different fabric. You know what I mean? So that is the plan. So the first thing I need to do, draw some lines, straight lines, equidistant, symmetrical, both sleeves. Maybe 4. Am I doing 3 stripes? 4? I don't know. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to then line up the rickrack. I'm then going to sew the rickrack while these sleeves are flat. I will then on the serger change the serger cones. I don't think I need the current setup of serger thread. So I'm going to change the serger cones to white, cream, whatever matches. Sew that up, attach it to the shirt. You understand? That should be easy. And hem the bottom, edge of that. I think it should be easy peasy. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, I want to make an orange cover up, just a little duster like thing. Now this is one of the projects that I am starting from scratch, but I think it's gonna be quick and easy. It's not a pattern. I'm just kind of making it up. So I was playing around in the mirror with this beautiful scarf, and I did a thing. I tied it up in the front, and then I pinned I did some things, okay? And it was so gorgeous, and I was like, this is beautiful. It just needs like some elastic to hold it to the arm. None of what I'm saying to you makes sense because you can't visualize it, you can't see it, but just know that I was there. It's gonna be gorgeous. So what I've decided is, if I were to line up the width of my scarf to the width of this highlighter orange colored fabric that I have in my stash, it behaves like a viscose. So we're going to treat it as if it is a viscose. If I kind of line it up, I only have this much extra, so they kind of are about the same width. So I would say it's maybe 2 to 3 inches off. Not bad. Still works for what I'm trying to do. What I did want, however, is to lengthen it longer than the scarf was, okay, because I want it to be full length to the floor. And the scarf was ending at about like by my knee, around the back of my knee. So I added some length to it. All I did, I held this up to my body, selvage to selvage in my hand, saw where it touched the ground, scooted the fabric up to that point, snipped and ripped. I've already done that part off camera, okay, because I was been busy. So which part is the one that I'm using? I'll remeasure it, but I've already snipped and ripped it, and legitimately I should just be finishing the ends, which I think I'm gonna do with a narrow rolled hem, or like use my hand and just hem all 4 corners. I then am going to insert some elastics at a strategic point, which I've already identified and marked on my scarf with these clips right here. So I'm going to measure that distance on the fabric, mark it, put some elastic in that channel, and then I am going to, at those points where the elastic is sewn, I am literally going to take it and fold it and add a little bit of zigzag stitching right here to bar tack that together. And this is where the arm goes, and legitimately it flows beautifully, and then I tie it up in the front. Easy peasy. I think I'm gonna love it. And all of the stitching I'm gonna do with a wide stitch width, because my idea is that if I ever want to make something else out of this, like I don't think it's permanently going to be that item of clothing. So if I ever wanted to undo it, I want a longer stitch length so that it's easier for me to just unpick it all. There's that. Then there's the matter of that skirt, the one right there, this one hanging up, the half circle skirt with the overlay. I have been procrastinating, mainly because it did its biasy things, as I knew it would. And I am just frightened at the idea of having to hem it. And also, I was going back and forth. Let me bring the skirt. So what has caused my procrastination is I have been going back and forth about how I want to insert the zipper, and I am trying to build my confidence in how I want to finish the waistband. The last slip skirt that I made, I went ahead and inserted the elastic in the waistband and hadn't necessarily tacked it down. Like it worked, but I had questions. So I also, because there are 2 layers here, there's the actual half circle skirt. And then if you remember from my Friday sews or the last video I had where I talked to you about this skirt, it has this overlay piece. So it's these 2 pieces together. Then I was thinking, well, since you have 2 pieces of fabric, do you want to sandwich the zipper into the fabrics and treat this sort of like a lining, like how you would if you line a dress, that sort of thing? And then I was like, well, then how would you, so I was trying to do the mental gymnastics to figure out then how I would proceed to add the elastic in the waistband. And the other option, of course, I think the more reasonable option, and the one that I may be going with most likely, is to baste these 2 together, these 2 fabrics, along the entire waistline, as well as down that side where the zipper is going to be inserted, and treat this as a single layer of fabric, and insert the zipper the way that I normally would, and then insert the elastic the way that I normally would, treating it as one piece of fabric. That would be the logical way to do it given the amount of time that I have. I think it's the way I'm gonna go. I then need to figure out how I want to finish the overlay piece. I've been going back and forth about adding bias binding to really make it pop a little bit. And then I'm trying to decide which of my bias bindings, different things, etc. Yeah, Sumo. Okay, I'm coming. Thank you. So I have to make a decision on if I want to do it with bias binding. Do I want to narrow roll hem it, which I could, or, you know, how do I want to finish it? And then there's the, of course, having to level off the hem of the half circle skirt. I think I'm going to level off the front. I actually like the way it dropped on the bias in the back. It just sort of like evenly dips. I think it's quite even, and I think it's going to look more like a high-low effect, given the fact that I have the overlay, which kind of moves around and does other things, I don't think it's gonna look off. If I'm wrong, then in the future I'll level it off and hem it. But for right now, I think I'm gonna leave the back, just level off the front. That is my idea. So that is project number 3. I gave it 4 stars as far as priority. And I do think that I can get to these 3. My hope is to get to at least these 3 tonight. Then I looked under my table and I had this, my crochet project, the one that I worked on all summer in Guinea. Well, in order for me to ever wear this anywhere in public, I would need to have like an underdress layer of some sort to make me feel comfortable about it, okay? So from my stash, I pulled out this like chestnutty, it's toffee, this brown. It's a lighter shade of brown. It's definitely lighter than my skin complexion, but it's very hard to get like an exact match all the time. But I have this. So I want to sort of make like a fitted jersey dress that I could wear and then put my crochet project on top of it and then wear this duster over it. I really think that navy and orange, they just go together. And if this is already made because it's project number 2, I think, on my list, then why not layer it up, you know? So that's a thought. That's the 4th thing. And this is a like, if I get to it, I get to it. If not, then the crochet project just doesn't, it just doesn't, okay? But if I do, then I'm taking the crochet project with me on the plane to finish. To where I'm going. Oh, the shenanigans, they continue. Then the final thing that I have on the list, and I put it as a priority of 2 stars out of 5, because really I could wear it as it is, but I would like to lengthen it. And that project is my rectangle top. It really is a rectangle with a slit at the neckline, open bottom, sewed up the side seams. Listen, ain't nothing to it. I made this last year, it was. It's this beautiful textured fabric, and the only thing that I want to do is kind of lengthen the bottom of it, especially in the back. If I don't get to the front, like, I'm going to prioritize the back. And I found this bias binding that is like the exact same color. So my idea would be to unpick the hem that I put on here, which is, it would at least give me a decent full inch, and then attach the bias binding instead, seal it off, bish bash bosh, it's done, right? It's a very quick project. So I put my deadline for that as tomorrow, because like, if this is something that I wake up in the morning and just knock out, maybe I unpick it tonight, finish it tomorrow, it can still work. I can see myself wearing this over jeans or layered over the skirt, because it picks up that gorgeous red that's in there. You see that? Yeah. Anyway, this is what I've chosen to do to myself the night before my trip. At any point when I start to feel fatigued, I am going to sleep. But this is the plan so far. What I did earlier today, I should mention, is add the buttons onto my white hibiscus cotton oversized shirt. My goodness, it took me forever, one, to find where I'd place the buttons, but I finally found them. And I went ahead and sewed those on quickly while I had to watch something earlier today. So it was a good use of time. Those buttons are on. Then a project that you didn't even know I've been working on, my friends. This baby. Do you remember? Do you know what this is? Sound off in the comments down below. Are you not proud of me? Okay? So it was intended to be a dress. I know, the Zimmerman inspired dress, but for right now we're capping it off and it's going to be the Zimmerman inspired skirt. It's going to live as that for a couple of months, because it almost got chucked into the UFO pile of banishment. And I decided, I was like, you're so close. You could actually wear this very soon. Just make it into a skirt. And I did. I'm so proud of it. I went ahead and used the remainder of my star buttons. And you may remember these if you've been on this channel from my silk shirt. I'm very, very proud of the fact that I have something that's wearable in this. And I still do intend, maybe at some other point next spring, to do the full dress with the rickrack and all of that. But in order for it to have been wearable for some point in 2023, I just needed to put those ideas to rest for a bit, because it was becoming too much. So that's what we got. You didn't even know I was working on it, but I went ahead and put the buttons on. I had sewn this up last week. Yeah. All right. So that's that. It's time to pray. So I will be back in just a minute and let you know how I'm progressing. The shirt is done. It looks so good. I even added rickrack to the front just to make it look super intentional. I love it. I did 3 stripes of rickrack down each side and switched up the order that they were in and went with a decorative stitch on my cuffs in different colors. Of course, I was switching back and forth my thread colors to match each rickrack individually. I love how this came out, and I finally get to wear it, and it looks super nice with the skirt. I think I'm gonna have to put a pin right here just to hold the skirt button band in place. It's like gaping there, which I don't like, but otherwise it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's exactly what I wanted, and I finally get to wear my Phil Collins shirt again. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Now on to the other 5 or so projects. I forgot to share one with you guys. Remember when I made my own swim set? I had these, well, I have these leggings that I wear, and the waistband I put in it was extremely tight. I had measured out the waistband perfectly, and then when I was stitching it up, for whatever reason, went ahead and like made it tighter without double checking. Who asked? Who asked for that, Fatmata? So anyways, I'm gonna unpick the hideous amount of zigzag stitching that I did to hold this, to close the opening. I'm just gonna open it where I had sealed it off, and then add, will I just add some elastic to the band that's already in there? Possibly. I think that may be what I'm gonna do, but that is, I think, gonna be the 4th project that I try and work on. Right now we need to move on. Well, actually it's quick enough that maybe I could just do it and get it out the way. I think I'm just gonna do that now. And then we're gonna move on to the orange overlay. It's much later than I was hoping it would be. I had to pause and in between sewing this, do some homework help. So let's see if I can just hunker down and get the rest of these things done a little bit faster. I'll check in when I'm doing the orange duster, because I think that'll have more things that might need to be explained, you know? After narrow roll hemming all of the 4 corners, I laid the scarf on top of my fabric, finding that the arm hole was going to be from 18 to 30 inches. I then added a narrow strip of elastic and zigzag stitched that in place, and then tacked it down in those corners. Okay, so the little cover-up thing is complete. Listen, it's simple. I tried to take some videos while I was making it so you can kind of see. Here it is with the M8064 dress in pink with the orange. I added these little baubles because it's trim that I had in my stash, and also it adds just a little bit of weight to the front of this. So if I wanted to wear it with this kind of in the front, I could, or I could use it to kind of loosely tie it in the front. It's a bit hard to kind of do it with one hand, but I could zhuzh it up, make it look super cute. But it at least gives me an option to have some sort of cover up that goes with the orange, which is on theme. Excuse the fuzzy socks. I did end up doing a narrow rolled lettuce hem on the edge of this detail using my like cotton candy rainbow sort of thread. And that's the same at the bottom as well. Right, the waistband has been attached. I'm actually really happy with how that turned out. It has the elastic on the inside, and I changed my serger thread again to make sure that I cleanly finished all of that in there. I don't know if you could see that. Anyway, but yeah, it feels really comfy and snug at the same time, which is pretty good. That's what I wanted. I'm gonna pin up this part, hold up the overlay so it doesn't distort what's happening here. I have to decide how I want to mark it. I have these chalk writers from the dollar store, and they leave a pretty decent and prominent mark on dark backgrounds, which is why I like to use them when I'm working with a dark fabric. So it has a pretty blunt tip, but it may get the job done. What I'm thinking I could do is to use my ruler here, put it on the floor, and then sort of mark my way up. So I'm gonna find the lowest point, I think. Makes sense. Which seems like here. This is 8.5. Geez, I should probably mark that as the lowest point. Okay. After marking it, I went ahead and laid it down on my cutting mat. I'm going to take my rotary cutter and kind of follow along those dashed lines all the way around. So alright, there you have it. So the skirt, I was able to finish it last night. I was embarrassed about what time I finished, so I did no time stamps there, but it was finished. I hemmed it off, so you do get this bit that sort of drops lower than the length of the skirt. So all of that is French seamed on the inside. On the front, I used this narrow bias binding in white. It looks really curly, like it picks up the edge a lot. So I haven't pressed it yet. I'm hoping that it's less like that when I press it. In the back, I did just go ahead and narrow roll hem it with my narrow roll hem foot, the same way that I did the very bottom edge. And this is also kind of curling up. So I just think it's a function of, you know, the skirt being hemmed in general. It's doing it on the bottom as well. So I think once I press it, hopefully some of these are going to lay down a little bit nicer, but all in all, I'm really pleased with it. I do think I need a hook and eye closure at the very top, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, but it is swishy, it's fun, and I think this with my black gable top could be a really nice dinner outfit for an evening out. As far as the to-do list is concerned, I was able to do the long sleeve shirt, the orange cover up. I did finally get the skirt done. I had jumped down and completed the swimwear. So I have these two left. I honestly doubt this tan like underdress thing is gonna happen. It just, the fact that it isn't cut out yet, and I don't know. I'm not promising that. The rectangle top, again, very low in priority. It works as is, so it's not like I must. So we'll see if I get to those. All right, quick update. I'm really happy that I stayed up and finished the skirt yesterday because there would have been no time today. I just got back from a doctor's appointment, picked up one of my little ones, and I leave for the airport in maybe an hour and a half or so. We're gonna go pick up one of my other kiddos from school, so that we're not like worried about getting him and getting stuck in traffic and whatnot. I'm working on the red top that was in my like plan, and I had unpicked it earlier this morning, so I'm legitimately just running the bias binding along the edge. Gonna flip that over. I might have gained myself 1 inch in the back. Doesn't seem like a lot, but honestly I think it's gonna make a huge difference in my comfort level, at least with wearing it. Now, aside from that, the last thing that was on the list, the sixth thing, was the like nude color, like me color under dress, and unfortunately, like, that's not even gonna happen. But I do remember that I had this dress. It's like a very similar jersey sort of thing, much lighter than me, which is why I would have preferred something a bit more my skin tone-ish, you know, a bit more toasty. But it works for the purposes of what I need because I'm not actually wearing it out to be visible. So it's fine. I am just going to hike up the shoulder straps on that because it scoops way too low. So I just want it like hiked up as high as I can get it so the neckline is higher. And I'm going to take that with me, and then I'm going to carry the crochet project with me on the plane as my plane project, the thing that I'm going to be working on, because it's still not quite done, but it'll be done before I want to take photos in it. Oh man, this is so funny. But I am very proud that I got like 6 to-do things. Didn't make the, you know, new dress, but like this project here, hiking up the shoulder straps, every single time I wear that dress I think to do that and I never do it, and now I'm getting it done. So I will still count it as like 6 different things, and maybe I need like a week or a couple of days where I just go through my to-do stash and like get some stuff done. There we go. I'll check in later. That was quick and painless. So for the rectangle top, as you can see here towards the bottom, you have that extra lip in the back, and I went ahead and added the bias binding on the inside so it's still nicely finished. So yeah, not a huge difference, but it gives me that 1 extra inch in the back, which I like. Wear it with high-waisted things. The little underdress thing, went ahead and I did this on the sewing machine. I wasn't going to change my overlocker thread right now. So I just stitched that and then sort of tacked it down towards the back just so that wouldn't be flopping around everywhere. So there it is. I thrifted this dress, I think, because I was like, oh, a color that kind of matches me. Anyways, this is all gonna go. I have the iron on. I'm going to press everything that I have made that's down here so far, and then run upstairs and pack. I'm gonna try and close out this video while I iron. Otherwise, I don't know if you'll actually get this video this week. So, I am really proud. I got all 6 items, for the most part, done. Even with that sort of last minute change to the tan sort of dress. I found something that fits the brief and fixed it so that I could make use of it. Right now I'm working on pressing the hems on the black floral skirt. I had added bias binding and then did a narrow roll hem to those edges, but I want to make sure that I press it down because it was store-bought bias binding, which has a more rigid feel than the, you know, polyester fabric I was using. So I want to just press it, give it some fluidity, make it not as stiff on the bottom here, and then also to press out some of those creases that were in it when it was wrapped around the cardstock, and then press around the narrow rolled hems so that everything just lays really nice and beautiful as well. While I'm down here, I'm just keeping an eye out for anything from my sewing room that I think I might want to take with me. So I'm going to take some safety pins. I have this little Ritz-Carlton like sewing kit that I had thrifted some time ago. It just has a few needles and it's it has thread already on it in various colors and some extra buttons. So really handy. And I think I'm going to try and grab one of my seam rippers and put it in my cosmetic bag, like with my tweezers and stuff. So that's all. I'm hoping that the place that we're going has an iron in it. I'm sure it would, but I do like to travel with my things pre-ironed, even if it gets a little wrinkled in my luggage. Taking that extra step just in case things aren't as I think they might be is worth it for me. So I am just taking that extra little step, not because I have a ton of time, but because it's certainly giving me some peace of mind. I think the things that I'm going to iron are this skirt, the orange duster thing that I made. That's made out of like a viscose though, so I feel like it's gonna wrinkle regardless, and I'm gonna have to like either steam it or let it hang out. prior to wearing it either way. I think I'm done. So I'm just sorting out all the things down here before I go and pack my suitcase upstairs. So I have the like burkini set that I made, and I love that. And I think it works well since it has those pops of orange. Even if I needed to, I could layer my new little layering piece on top of it. I have my Phil Collins shirt that I just pressed, the awesome Zimmerman inspired skirt that I recently finished up. I think I'm gonna take my tan M8064, the sleeveless one that I recently made, because I think I could toss on my white hibiscus cotton shirt over it. Since it has a high neck, I can like tie the shirt in the front and just wear it like that. I think I might be able to get maybe 2 or so wears out of this during the trip, you know, for different occasions and different outfits. So I'm excited to bring this and see just how versatile it's gonna be. And I definitely know this season I'm gonna make another like white button-up shirt for sure. This one doesn't really need a ton of pressing. I'm loving it. So I'm putting that there. I think I'm gonna wear my jeans to the airport. That might be best, just so I'm not like overpacking for no reason. I'm gonna go ahead and pack up the top that I just did. If I don't wear my dark floral skirt with the white hibiscus top, then I may wear it with this. It just depends on like it just depends on what look I'm going for. Of course, the skirt, can't forget it. I think the pressing helped a little bit, but yeah, having bias binding, which is a bit more sturdy, if I can use that word, than the actual really lightweight polyester, I think definitely is going to make it stand out. I'm going to pack it inside out with the overlay on the inside, just because I think it's easier so it's not flapping all around. Just trying to get that really nice. I love that a lot of my makes have like this pop of orange coming through. It's definitely a nice accent color. And then can't forget my pink dress as well. So there's that. I'm gonna pack some PJs and some other things, maybe like a lounge set, probably like some house, like a house dress, a prayer gown. I have to get one of those, which I already know which one I'm taking. It's the one that one of my girlfriends who's actually coming on this trip had gifted us last trip that we took. So I'm gonna do that. Oh, almost forgot what I just worked on. Oh boy. All right, so we're gonna pack this dress up, the one that I just fixed. The rayon pink dress, turned off the iron, but it would benefit from a press. But I think when I arrive, I'm just gonna have to hang this up and allow the wrinkles to drop. I got the things done. Like, we have check marks in our to-do list items. I'm so excited. When we started this yesterday, who would have thought? I don't want to fall back into my frantic sewing, but this did show me that sometimes fixing up some of the garments that I've been like holding off on doing isn't really necessary, because like I sat down and just like got through so many of these, and these had been long awaiting projects. So I really have to get better about just finishing the things. So I think I'm going to commit to a bit of that with the projects that I have cut out and things that I've made in the past when I get back. Can't wait to tell you about all the things that I've been doing up until now that didn't involve this frantic sew, and also to check in with some of my other fall makes. I hope you're having a great weekend. Bye-bye for now. Let me know in the comments down below favorite things from today's video and what you're planning to sew in this weekend. Bye.